Good afternoon, participants. Thank you for attending our discussion today on the current realities of women in our workplaces and what we can do individually and collectively to stop the growing gap around diversity, equity, and inclusion, which unfortunately is going in the wrong direction. I'm Kathy Light, CEO of Leaderanza Group. We have 3 operating divisions: Leadership Balance, Assessment Leaders, and Be Well, Perform Well. I'm here today with my amazing colleague, Dr. Mark Tuggle. Dr. Tuggle co-developed our Women in Leadership program and will provide great insights into the program itself, why we developed it, and what we can do to help you become better leaders in corporations.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm excited to be here with you all today and looking forward to talking about our Women in Leadership program in light of the current realities that women face in the corporate workplace and the challenges that corporations have until they solve these problems. So, Kathy, I'm looking forward to hear what you have to share with us, and take it away.
Thank you. So in this webcast today, we're going to focus on 4 key topics. I will cover the first 3. So let's begin with some alarming, not impressive, but alarming stats on women currently in leadership positions across the globe. When you look at these statistics, and they have been declining year over year, as a result, the higher you look in companies, the fewer women you see. It's reflected by these statistics. Extensive research has been provided by McKinsey, Mercer, Deloitte, Lean In, and many others to support these statistics. However, research validates the need for more women leaders in our organizations. When you look at performance of companies with top representation of women in executive positions outperform by earnings of 55%, significantly better than companies with no women at the top. So the average return on an equity is roughly around 47%. So women do matter in the workplace. And again, lots of data supports those statistics. When women get stuck in corporate America, companies get stuck. At the current rate, it's indicated that it will take more than a century for our organizations to reach gender equality in leadership. Diversity is good for business, and diversity shows higher performance in companies that have programs that are centered around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Some of the key performance indicators, the KPIs, are around innovation, creativity, revenue, and higher profit. At this time, I'd like to take a poll from our participants, and we do have 2 poll questions in our program today. And the first one is a question around your company. Has your company invested in a dedicated Women in Leadership program? So please take a few minutes as I continue this presentation and answer that question. We would appreciate that. And we'll provide the results towards the end of this webinar. So women in leadership roles do matter. They drive higher performance. And it shows that companies whose top management teams include women, again, post a higher return on equity and a higher return to shareholders. So with these statistics, why don't we see more women in these leadership positions? Number one, women drive higher performance because of a lot of competencies that they bring around people development and team building. But companies that, in our perspective, companies that hire and retain more women not only are doing the right thing about diversity, but it also offers this competitive advantage towards the marketplace, both internally and externally. And this also leads to allowing a greater pool of opportunity to build talent during the shortfall in our current talent marketplace. So when you implement programs around developing women leaders, this allows an opportunity to grow the talent internally so they don't leave your organization, and therefore retention is key for a number of reasons. So while we focus on men and women in the workplace, I think it's important to state from our perspective that it isn't one or the other in terms of gender. We need both genders, and each bring a very unique talent to organizations. There are 9 leadership behaviors that was written up by McKinsey through some research around, in today's economic landscape, what are the behaviors needed? And women exhibit 5 of those behaviors more often than men. And let me read you what those 9 competencies are. They're participative decision-making, role modeling, being inspiring, setting expectations and rewards, developing people, intellectual stimulation, efficient communication, individualistic decision-making, and control and corrective action. Where women apply more, it's around 3 areas: people development, expectations, rewards, and role modeling. And men seem to apply more, being more individualistic in their decision-making and control and corrective action. So with this, why do women seem to be struggling? What's happening? What seems to be holding women back? And, I think one, that they're underrepresented at every level. And this leads to lower rewards for them and lower levels in an organization. But what can we do to help women grow within their organizations? And I think it's twofold. It's one, helping men in leadership roles understand the importance of gender and diversity in their organizations, as well as women taking ownership themselves to take charge of their careers, to own their own careers, and to have a voice in their organizations. There are 9 things that we concluded as to why women continue to struggle with representation in their organizations. And let me just share those with you. These 6 indicators are stress and pressure, work-life balance, lack of opportunities for personal development and growth, so lack of career mapping within their organization. Again, work-life balance is challenging. And some women are just not interested in that type of work. And number 6, they're not sure that they can be successful and in top executive roles. So what can corporations do? That was a little comment around what we can do individually, is to have a voice and to have more self-awareness around the situation, and to be more confident about yourself in asking for a promotion or asking for a raise. So not only are women not having the voice that they need, but I think that there's an opportunity. With challenges come opportunities, and there's an opportunity for women to have a stronger voice. And I'll cover some suggestions and our point of view in just a moment. I'd like to share another stat with you that I think that's important. 80% of women who plan to leave their company in the next 2 years intend to stay in the workforce. So what companies can do is empower them to stay within their organization, so they continue to have that, what I call intellectual property within their organization and not leave their companies. So provide more opportunities for them to learn and to grow. And when women leave, they are leaving. This is a very positive statistic that women are leaving corporations to run their own businesses. American Express recently put out a 2017 publication that they have seen huge growth in the number of women-owned firms that has surged year over year. So on my final point here, what can we do again? I have produced a download that all of you will receive called Priceless Leadership Lessons, Breaking Barriers and Creating Change. I've been in your shoes. I was in corporate America for a long time, and I'm one of those women that had opted out in the early 2000s to start my own company. And since then, I have become a serial entrepreneur, and this is my 5th company. So I have taken all that institutional knowledge and corporate experience and transferred that into my own companies. So that is an exciting movement for a lot of women that we see. So in closing, in my portion, there are some things that corporations can do to help create this movement, this positive movement towards change. And I'd like to reflect on 5 points in terms of companies. And as leaders, we shouldn't assume that the playing field has been leveled, because the reality is that it's not. So what can we do as leaders within our organizations to make change occur? Look at redesigning systems to correct any inequities. This is where you can involve your HR department and collect and review salary growth metrics that are certainly important. And we continue to see a difference among salaries when it comes to men and women. And again, what could we do as leadership teams? 2 points here. Build in a checks and balances system against unbiasedness, and make assignments based on qualifications and not on presumptions. And a couple of final points for personally is what women can do to take charge of their own careers, and ask for, if you are in this position to ask for a raise, have your game plan ready and be prepared to really put a strategy together of why you feel that you deserve a raise and a new opportunity. And you're not asking for permission. You're making a statement and building your case. You want to justify your case for a new opportunity, a raise, etc. So be prepared. Practice your pitch. Practice it in the mirror. Practice it amongst your mentor or your significant other or a friend. Practice makes perfect, and you really want to do some role playing. Seek out a mentor within your organization that you can collaborate. And I think most importantly, number 7 is to celebrate your wins. It's really important that we continue to build our confidence and to know that we, are important to organizations, and have that voice and ask for that voice. Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about some key goals for women in leadership.
Thank you, Kathy. As Kathy mentioned, there are some things that businesses can do, and there are some things that women can do as individuals to really help promote diversity in the workplace, to address some of these deficiencies with women in leadership roles. And that's what we came into, that was a desire that we had when we started to tackle this idea of developing a women in leadership program within Leadership Balance. And where we landed in partnership with an e-learning company, Skillsoft, the #1 provider of e-learning resources in the world, have partnered with us to help develop this tool. And really, it's a solution that's grounded in research. It's developed to enrich leadership and skills for women in management positions. One of the things that Kathy pointed out is one of the challenges personally is a woman may not feel like she's equipped with the tools for upper management and leadership. We developed this Women in Leadership program to help provide the tools and the skills and the confidence for women to step into those roles. So you can see there the first point. We wanted to build a more competitive and well-rounded workforce promoting women in leadership. That's a goal for organizations, but part of that is that women develop the skills and confidence that they need to really compete. Another piece of it is just around the idea of building your leadership brand. That's important for both men and women. Women have some unique challenges in terms of overcoming gender biases that exist within organizations that may exist on the subconscious level. It's not the overt bias that's the problem. It's kind of the systemic, built-in subconscious bias. But this tool that we've developed, this Women in Leadership program, helps women develop a brand and a strategy for addressing that. And then, of course, we recognize, and just as Kathy mentioned, one of the personal challenges for women, work-life balance. And so we recognized that we needed a solution that allowed us to integrate this learning into people's very busy schedule. And so we've worked with Skillsoft and curated incredible content from industry thought leaders and put them into a package that's very accessible. In fact, it's accessible on any platform, mobile as well as on PC, and it's accessible 24/7. So Kathy will talk a little bit more about that later as we talk about the e-learning offering. But so that you understand our goals here, that these are related both to the individual and to the organization. And to that end, as far as the organization is concerned, one of the things that we hope to help develop in you as women leaders is a desire for and a leadership of making your organization a learning organization. As you engage with us in your Women in Leadership program, we recognize that you are a person who values learning and growth and development. But when you can help your organization value that, great things can happen. Some statistics related to learning cultures and why they matter. When you think about your organization, 46% more likely to be the first to market, greater productivity, more prepared to meet future demands, more likely to be market leaders. All of these are positive results of having a learning organization. And we recognize that to have a learning organization, you have to have leaders who value learning and growth and learning and development. And so we're talking to you women as leaders and emerging leaders, current leaders in your roles, to work within your organization, not just to develop more women as leaders, which is certainly a critical requirement, but to help your organization become a learning organization. What does that really look like? This is kind of a picture in terms of where learning moves from being an isolated individualistic event. You see they're siloed, it's kind of supplemental, all the way up to it being fully integrated and optimized within your organization. Just coming to that first poll question, 63% of you indicated that your organization does not have a leadership program dedicated to women leadership development. So what's going to happen is that you are talking to us. You're going to do something that is more siloed or targeted to women in leadership, but it's going to be supplemental. It's not going to be something that's integrated into your organization. But as you get exposed to it and experience it, our desire is that you would help make it become more normative within your organization so that it can be transformational and a continuously integrated and ultimately optimized part of your organization. That's the maturing of the learning and development within your organization. And we hope and desire that women leaders would be leaders in this effort to get more organizations serious about learning and development, both for women in particular, women in leadership, but also for the organization as a whole. And so finally, when you think about that progression, you think about skill focus and then business focus and then organizational performance. Our Leadership Balance for Women program is really targeted in those first three areas. It has a significant aspect in terms of building your skills. So it is skills focused, and we expect it to have immediate workplace results for you as women in leadership in your organization. But secondarily, we expect it to help you help your organization increase the business impact, as you're able to take the skills and competencies that you develop with the Women in Leadership program and apply them in your workplace and begin to advocate for more growth and development and learning and development within your organization. What we expect to see is an increased business impact as a direct result of your participation in the Leadership Balance for Women program. So that's our desire. That's how it all fits together. And I do have another poll question that I'd like to ask you at this time, because it's important in terms of this question of individualized versus organizational. And that question is, are you investing in your professional development? How are you doing that? Is that not at all or occasionally with no structure? You can see the survey appearing on your screen. Yes, but it's self-funded, or yes, through my employer's dedicated resources, or is it a combination of your own resources and your employer's resources? And we'll get to those results shortly as well. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy to talk about some specifics related to our Women in Leadership program.
Thank you, Mark. And as we're concluding our webinar in a few minutes, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions now in the chat room, and Dr. Tuggle will be addressing those questions and then providing answers. So let's talk about this very unique program that we have developed specifically for women in leadership. This program is very high impact. It's an opportunity for continuous learning for women leaders at all levels. And we are focusing on emerging leaders, mid-level leaders, and senior leaders. We are also offering bonus courses, and these are focused really around the business, accountability, attracting and retaining talent. How do you develop your team members, critical thinking, dismissing an employee, globalization, and project management. So those are 7 additional courses that we are offering. So you will receive 50 courses with your purchase. And again, this can be purchased individually, or it can be purchased by your employer who could invest in your personal development. Along with this year-long program at your pace. And I think that's what's really key here, that you can develop your leadership at your own pace, at your own location, and at a time that is just perfect for you. Included in this program, you'll have videos, you'll have book summaries, obviously 24/7, we're in the cloud, and at any time, my team and I are here to help you with this program. And then finally, we're offering, until I think it expires, it does expire November 30th, a really nice bonus. If you sign up between now and the end of the year, December 15th, that we are providing our free Leadership Balance Quotient Assessment. And this is a $90 value. Our assessment, developed by Dr. Mark Tuggle, really focuses on 3 major dimensions: the mind, the will, and the heart to lead. And it provides a total person view of one's leadership readiness. So we're excited to offer you our new assessment tool that's just hit the marketplace this year. Additionally, there is an Amazon gift card that's available for those of you that recommend a colleague or a friend, and they sign up, both you and your friend will receive a gift card. And let's see, I think, Mark, do we have any, let's talk about how you can go and order this. I think that's important. You can go to our website, leadershipbalance.com, and scroll to programs, and then there is Women in Leadership in that section, and you can click on that area, and you can have you can download our online brochure, and it'll give you more details around this this wonderful program. So Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'd like to thank everyone for participating in our webinar. I think we've got some good questions that you have asked, so we'd like to address those in our final polling results. And I'd also like to close with a comment that we are developing a Men in Leadership program that will launch the first week of December. So we're excited that that is also hitting the marketplace, and you can look forward to hopefully seeing some press soon along that. And finally, as a thank you gift from myself and our team, you will be receiving an email, and that will include a free download to create your own roadmap to success. And it's a booklet with some worksheets there that can help you think about your own personal career mapping and where you are, current state, and where you want to take your career. So thank you for your time on my behalf. Mark?
Thank you, Kathy. And just to further emphasize the need for this program, in terms of that second poll result, 26% of you indicated that you occasionally invest in, are doing professional development, but with no structure. And 30% indicated that it's a combination of kind of self-funded, self-initiated, and resources from the employer. So we recognize the need that this program is filling in terms of being a resource that women can use to develop as leaders, regardless of where they are on the leadership spectrum right now. So having said that, I'll go to some questions that have come through during our time. The first one is asking if there is a group discount available. And the answer to that question is yes. And we encourage you to give us a call at the 866 number that you see on the screen to talk to one of our customer service representatives about the group discounts that are available for this course. The next question, there's a question about how long the courses last. Kathy mentioned that this program offers 50 courses in all. And the courses range from about an hour of time to consume up to 2.5 to 3 hours. But before you start to cringe and wonder where you're going to have time to do that, you should know, and this is one of the advantages that we have in partnering with Skillsoft, they have built all of these courses in micro learning chunks. So most of the lessons, if you will, most of the assets, whether it's a video or a PDF or something to read or an exercise to do, those are in 3 to 6 minute chunks. So you can really dive in, get a few things in, go back out. It's going to remember where you are, and you can pick up where you left off. So even though each course lasts from 1 to 3, it has 1 to 3 hours of content, you can consume it at your own pace in as many different chunks as you need. And another question we have is, how long is your access to the courses? And so this is a program that gives you access to all 50 courses, even though we do have them divided into those 3 tracks so that you can target your learning. You have access to all of the courses in all 3 tracks, as well as the bonus courses that, that Kathy mentioned. And that access is for 12 months from the start of the program. So when you sign on and get started, that's when the clock starts, and you have 12 months to consume all of that content. We had a few questions that came in early on about some logistical things that I think have since been sorted out. So Kathy, that covers the questions that we have, and I would just like to add my thank you to all of our participants who took the time to view and participate in this webinar. And one final thought from me is that as far as the question of the learning organization goes, we do have resources within our team to help leaders who want to take some steps to make their organization more of a learning organization. And so I would encourage you to call that 866 number as well, or reach out to us on the leadershipbalance.com website for more information about that. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful day. And we look forward to partnering with you in developing leadership and developing organization. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you, team.